Happy Wednesday, everybody. So for anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Lindsey Hall, and I'm an intimacy and empowerment coach. And to me, that means that I am here to help women deepen in intimacy with themselves and with others, really own their pleasure and their power, and live a joyful life that they absolutely fucking love. And I do that through all kinds of work, but one of the things that I love doing every week is coming out and doing these tea break chats. Hi, Frankie. And I come on every week and I have these chats and I talk about life in the past week. It's been, whatever's been going on in my life, lessons, challenges, celebrations, whatever. And then I answer the questions that you guys send me. And if you watch these regularly, you'll see that I'm in a different space today because honestly, I sat down to do them in the normal room, in the dining room, and it's cold and dark in there because the sun's on this side of the house today, so I'm sitting on the floor in the living room instead to get whatever tiny rays of sunshine I can get. So I am super buzzy and excited today, so, bear with me. But I have just spent the morning at a women in business networking event, but I want to call it more of like a women in business coffee morning in Sheffield. And you guys, it was so good. And Frankie, who I just said hi to, is one of the women I just met this morning. And it just absolutely has been such an incredible morning. So I'm just going to talk about all the buzz that I got from it. Hello. I am thinking that this is Rasheen coming on. I haven't followed your Instagram yet, but I think that's you. You guys, these are people I just met this morning. Isn't this amazing? So as you can tell, I'm all buzzy and giddy about it because there's something so magical about meeting up in person and having real life connections with really amazing humans who are also doing things that they absolutely love. And this was it was women in business. So it was a load of people who have their own businesses, who are doing the things of varying sizes, of tons of different things. There were a few other coaches there, but there were also way more non-coaches. And it's funny because I sometimes can sound quite contradictory, and sometimes I'm like, ugh, I don't really like talking to people, and then I come away from stuff like this and I'm like, oh my god, I love people. Because what I don't love when it comes to networking is in my past life as a corporate accountant, I spent many a evening at an event sponsored by Lloyd's Banking or any number of accounting firms or banking firms or anything like that, where you'd be in a stuffy room full of mostly middle-aged men in suits, and if they weren't middle-aged men, they were just people in business suits, and it was all about hey, can I sell you my banking services, or tell me about your accounting work, or maybe there'd be an occasional what was the last holiday you went on, in this attempt at a personal connection. But everybody was really only there to sell this transactional business thing that honestly none of us cared all that much about. We kind of needed it in our businesses. I was there on behalf of the company that I worked for, and yes, we needed banking services, and yes, I would rather get my banking services from somebody who I liked rather than somebody who's a complete tool. But it was it was all very necessary and transactional, and I can think of a million better ways to spend my time than that. So that is and I think that's what a lot of us kind of think about when we think about networking, is that sort of thing where it's just handing out business cards and people are just there to sell you their services and that's it. Things like today could not be further from that. Today lights me the fuck up because I got to talk to all these amazing women who are doing things that light them up. And I just want to hear more about it. There was maybe, my guess is there were around 15 people there today, something like that. And it was a 3-hour event. And when it was my chance to introduce myself, I was like, you guys, I would love this to be a 3-day event because I just want to keep talking to everybody in this room. Because everybody there had such cool businesses, had such cool stories to tell. And I only got the tiniest bit of the iceberg from everybody. And I'm like, I want to know more. And even in the going around and introducing ourselves, I made notes with 5 different people of speak to them about that, connect to them with that. And it's all just about learning what we do, learning what lights us up. And nobody is there trying to sell you the things. It's just about getting actual human connection. And because so many of us, these small business owners, loads of us work on our own, like with clients perhaps, but like we work on our own as opposed to like in a team environment. And so it's certainly something I feel, and other people today voiced it too, that like working by yourself gets to be kind of a drag. And particularly in the winter, like we were sharing our tips for staying motivated in the winter, and a lot of us said like, wow, it was a combination of let yourself go into hibernation mode, let yourself take in the slowness of the winter, and when you need to get out of that, like when you need to be productive, like get out of the house more and go and talk to people and make those connections, because it makes such a difference than when you are just in your house on your own under a blanket. I mean, I would literally just sleep and watch Netflix all day if I didn't like get out more often. So I definitely end up leaving the house way more often in the winter because I need to, or I will just watch Netflix 24/7. I mean, I can't because, kids and the responsibility of like school run, but yeah, aside from that, I would. But so stuff like today, so yeah, when I said like I was meeting people, so the event was organized by a woman named Olivia who runs the Living in Sheffield Instagram page. She is incredible at connecting people. I've had a few different people over the last year or so tell me I needed to meet her and go to her events because they would be right up my street, and they were absolutely right. This was 100% up my street. But I met, for example, Frankie at the beginning. So Frankie does social media for mostly purpose-driven, nonprofit, small businesses, that kind of thing. Frankie, I hope I got that right. Rasheen, who jumped on, she is a women's pelvic health specialist, so a women's health physio, and just absolutely doing incredible things around that. And like, if you are afraid to go on a trampoline because you might leak, go see her. Like it's a common problem, but it does not need to be something you live with. Just because you had a baby doesn't mean you need to leak and have bad pelvic floor for the rest of your life. She is really passionate about making sure that women take control of their health, and the NHS honestly is pretty terrible about this and pretty misogynistic, and it's like, well, you had a baby, so what do you expect? Well, actually, I expect to heal and recover and have like a properly functioning body again, just like I would if I broke any other part of my body. And I met, like I said, there was a few other coaches doing all kinds of different coaching. There was one who really focuses on like nervous system work and really come back into your body in all kinds of ways, who I'd really quite like to have a coffee with and chat more to. There was another woman who's really like a somatic practitioner who particularly works with with people with like long-term chronic fatigue, burnout, long COVID, that sort of thing. So she was fascinating. There was somebody there named Raven, who is a coach in like the storytelling way, and she really encourages people to take like not only be the main character in your own story, but you get to be the author of your story as well. And she's running a workshop tomorrow. There's one of the women who gave a talk. Her name is Cynthia, the oil lady, and she was all about essential oils. And if you guys, if you've been around here for a while, I don't think it really shows up on my grid, but I do talk about oils on my stories a fair bit. And it comes up in my classes, like in my Healing Heartbreak class. I talked about the oils that I use when I'm healing heartbreak in a relationship sense. I've talked about the oils I use to ground back into myself. So I absolutely love essential oils. And there was, this woman was talking about those today. Basically, I could just go, the list was, not endless. It was about 15 people long. But so many people doing so many amazing things that this is what the human connection and these cool things is what it's all about. And you don't need to know everybody who is there and all the things that they do, because this is the internet, not just Sheffield people watching this. But my takeaway for all of you who don't live in Sheffield, so if you do live in Sheffield and you are a woman business owner, follow Living in Sheffield at Instagram, and the next event's not going to be till April or May time, but it was amazing. Sign yourself up and go when she announces it. If you're not in Sheffield, which most of you aren't, my takeaway from this is really remember the things that give you energy, the things that light you up, and make the time to do more of those things. My takeaway from this is absolutely I know this shit lights me up. I know that I come away from these good kind of like networking connection meetings, meeting new people, and I am completely lit up and on fire. It reminds me of like why I am doing this work. It reminds me of how much I love connecting with actual humans about actual important things. Like I hate small talk. I hate like pointless surface level chit chat. But to talk about like real things with real people, I come away from this being like, this is why I do the kind of work that I do. This is why, and I want it's not just the work I do, it's wanting to support all of these other amazing people doing all of the amazing stuff they do. And it spurs me on to then go and take action from that point of view. It spurs me on to go and do more of the cool stuff. Whereas when I don't do this, it can be easy to like fall into a lull. And just for me, and for a lot of us, like non-action breeds more non-action. And I know that I get these bursts of energy from talking to new people, from making new connections, from like just this is my jam. So I am going to make it an intention to do more of these like in-person things at least once a month next year. That's my goal. Putting it out here. Once a month at least I will be doing in-person events and connections and things like that because it keeps me going. It lights me up. It like helps me stay connected with my why. So whatever that is for you, and I will, even if you are the most introverted person, I would hazard a guess that actual real life connection is probably quite high on the list for most of us. Because that is how we are wired as human beings. We are absolutely wired for connection with other people. So I am going to go out there and say that, yeah, probably quite a lot of you, this could be a nudge to go do some in-person events. Whether it's finding these kinds of women in business coffee mornings in your area, whether it's starting your own, like if you don't know of any, try and start one. Whatever it is, though, if it's not this, if it's something else, find that thing. And if you don't know what the thing is that lights you up, well, first of all, come talk to me. I can help you find the thing that lights you up. That is a huge part of what I do too. But find the thing that lights you up and do more of it. It's so easy to just let life happen, and I am absolutely guilty of this. Like the woman, the oils lady that I was talking about, Cynthia the oil lady. I met her at a different coffee morning months ago. Like I want to say it was early summer. I think it was before we went home to Wisconsin. So it would have been like last May or June, something like that. And we talked then about getting together for coffee and working on a collaboration for a workshop, combining intimacy and essential oils. And we just never managed to actually sit down, the two of us, because life. And so then we saw each other today. It was like, right, we really, really need to have that coffee and come up with this collaboration because it absolutely can be so powerful. But it's so easy to just let life kind of happen, and then you didn't schedule the meeting, you didn't have the coffee, you didn't do all the things. So use this as your chance, as your reminder to schedule it. And now I get we are less than 3 weeks away from Christmas. I'm probably not going to be scheduling any more coffee dates between now and Christmas because I have all the other things I want to do. But what I am going to do today and or tomorrow, when I finish this, is I'm going to text a few of the women that I met today and say, let's book in our coffee date for January. Because if I put it off until January, I will absolutely forget about it, and then it will be February, then it will be March, etc., etc. But if I take the action now while I'm still lit up and on this high to book it in for a future date, then it's in the diary. Then I go to it and it's not stressful because I know I'll love it. And then I'll take action again from there and from there. So book in the coffee date, book in the conversation that you want to have, book in the drinks night with your friend. Even if it's not booked until January, that's okay. And if you need to reschedule it, that's fine. If it comes to it and you're like, oh, we've booked in this coffee meeting for like a month from now or a month and a half, and what if life happens between now and then? Okay, so it'll be in your calendar and you'll see it coming up and you'll go, oh, I'm so sorry, this thing happened. Can we push it back a week? Not a problem at all. But at least it's there and you will get the energy from it. So takeaway, do the things that light you up. Meet the people, talk about the stuff that you love to do, even if it is uncomfortable, even if Like, I knew that I was going to love today. But there's other events that I go to where I'm like, oh my gosh, I am, I don't know a single person there. Is this going to be uncomfortable and awkward? And it might be. It might be really awful at first. And it's really helpful. It's really, like, keep stretching. You're welcome. So keep stretching yourself, keep doing the uncomfortable things, and it will get better and better. And you have to, like, do the uncomfortable thing more than once in order to notice the growth. If you just go to one event and you're like, that was really uncomfortable, but at least I did it, you won't reap benefits from stretching your edges, unless you go back to a second event and you notice maybe it was a little bit less uncomfortable, and then a third event and you're like, maybe that was a little bit better. So, like, find your edges, stretch them. It will be worth it. Okay, so then that was me blathering on about that. Let me just have a drink. Also, I hope you can actually, like, see me. I thought I was chasing the sun, but now it's just kind of blinding me here. No, that's worse. How do I make this so you can see me? Okay, so the question then that I had today actually relates to this time of year as well. And the question was like, Lindsey, I am just so overwhelmed with all of the things in December. It feels like it's all just getting on top of me, and how do I cope? So I want to say, yeah, you're not alone in that. Totally get it. It can feel really overwhelming at this time of year. And actually that came up in our going around today in the circle about, like, what you do in these winter months. Although the question in this morning was like, how do you maintain motivation in the winter months? It was about, like, how there's, the darker, shorter days. Can be a lot to do, particularly for those there today who are a product-based business. They get super busy at this time of year. There were some jewelry makers, some print designers, that kind of thing. And they're like, I'm just getting through. But for a lot of us, it can be an overwhelming time of year. Suddenly, even though the nights are drawing in, we want to cozy up and hibernate. There's all of a sudden like, oh, we must go for a drink before Christmas. We must meet up before Christmas. And there seems to be, like, I don't know why people have this we have to meet up before Christmas mentality when, like, there's still 11 other months of the year that you can get together. And then there's, the present buying and the trying to finish up stuff before the end of the year and getting ready for next year. And there can be a lot of competing demands. So if that is you, and it is you who asked the question, when you are feeling that sense of overwhelm, when you are feeling that, like, oh, I'm going to say, come back to your body. Regulate your nervous system. I feel like I just talked about this recently in one of the other T-Reg chats in the past few weeks, but I talk about it a lot, so it could have been in somewhere else, who knows. But regulating your nervous system is absolutely key to all of this. And so coming back into slowing down your breath, dropping out of your head and into your body. You all know I love a good dance party. Turning on whatever song you need to move your body, move the energy. Doing a meditation. Going outside. What was the nervous system coach today was talking about a game that she likes to play called Red Car, Green Car, Pigeon, Squirrel, I think is what she called it. Red car, green car, pigeon, squirrel. Something like that. When you go for a walk around town and you're looking for a red car, a green car, and a pigeon, and a squirrel. And it helps you get out of yourself and into your environment and connecting with nature, even if you're in the middle of a city. Or you can do it out, in the countryside and look for other things. And it soothes your nervous system. So bringing yourself back that way. Hello. So soothing your nervous system. And then knowing that it's okay to say no to things. We do not have to do the huge list of pre-Christmas things. You don't have to get a drink before Christmas. It can be in January or February or March. Or you just don't have to go. If you're like, you know what? I don't hang out with you guys. And just because it's Christmas is coming up doesn't mean I have to suddenly hang out with you. If you don't want to go for that drink at all, just say, no, thank you. And you don't have to even come up with an excuse. You can just say, no, thank you. Not interested. You don't have to go to all the 8 different holiday parties, even if they're family parties. If you've got, 3 parties on your side of the family and 3 parties on your partner's side of the family and you're feeling like just torn, but you have to go to see all the family, you don't have to go. think back to COVID years when so many people I know were saying it was actually really nice to not do all of those things and to just stay home with our family and do exactly what we wanted to do. Like, how many of us said that in those years? Like, oh, this was actually really refreshing to just stay home and be with our little family. You can still do that. Even though lockdown is over, you have full permission to just stay home with your little family and do things exactly as you want to do them, if that's what you want to do. Or you get to pick and choose the family events you go to. Again, you don't have to give a reason or an explanation, or maybe people will talk. Maybe people will be like, oh, I can't believe they didn't come. So what? It's okay. You get to protect you and your peace and your family's peace and do what is best for you. And if that means not going to see all the people, that's okay. When it comes to gift buying, you get to pare down your list as small as you want it to be. You do not have to buy a gajillion presents for a gajillion people. You can just buy a handful of, small things for a small number of people. My kids are getting secondhand gifts from charity shops and Vinted. That is an okay way to do things. So my main thing, I guess, that I'm saying here is permission to slow down, permission to say no to things, permission to really tune into what it is that you want at this time of year, what it is that you need, that your body needs, and focus on that. And that is absolutely the best thing that you can do for you and everybody around you. Getting stressy and burnt out just doesn't help anyone. Trying to be all the things for all the people actually just leaves you a shell for yourself, and that ain't fair or fun. So put it down. Whatever doesn't need to be done, just put it down. Whatever you don't want to do, put it down. Focus on the important stuff. Give yourself time to rest. Give yourself time to watch Netflix and chill on the couch. All of that is perfectly okay. And if you want to go out and wear the sparkly dresses and put on the red lipstick and go to all the Christmas parties because that lights you up, that's okay too. Like, I'm not saying you have to hibernate, but I'm saying that you get to do it the best way for you. And it's not always easy. Most of us do fight with a bit of people pleaser in us, a bit of like, oh, I should be doing that, but I'm giving you full permission to say, thank you, but I don't want to. Thank you, but I won't be doing that. Thank you, but I'm prioritizing my peace right now. That's okay. Come back in to you. Come back into your immediate family, to the relationships that mean the most to you. Reconnect there, and that will make it the biggest difference. Okay, I think that's it. I am going to go and connect and find all the people who I connected with in real life today. I'm going to find them on Instagram and keep those connections going. I'm going to text the people who I want to meet for coffee and set up coffee dates. And then I'm going to go get my kids from school. So I just want to throw out there at the end of this that although we are coming to the end of the year, my coaching services are always available. I mean, not always. I do actually, have time off because I'm a human too. But if you want to do one-to-one coaching with me, absolutely. We will be starting in January for any new clients who want to come in. I will also be having a new divorce program coming out soon, so keep your eyes open for that. If you are considering divorce, you are in divorce, you are just fucking sick of divorce, if like anything to do with it, that will be coming out soon. Of course, there's always one-to-one coaching with me available for that too, but there will be a group program starting soon. Keep your eyes open. And actually, how I'm feeling right now is just, if there's anything that you're like, I just need a little bit of one-off support. Like, I've looked at your website and your coaching packages don't quite seem right for me, or I'm not interested in a long-term container right now. I'm really very open to let's find what works for you. So if you're like, hey, Lindsey, I just want to chat about this thing, and maybe it's just a single session, or maybe it's a short-term coaching, or maybe you just don't even quite know what you want, but you know that I feel like a good fit for you, and you're like, I think I need some of your help and support in this. And even I just want to hang out with you and your energy. Just send me a message and we can absolutely come up with stuff that works for you. I am feeling so open to all the possibilities and really just wanting to help and support you guys right now. So send me a message and let's just like make magic together. How's that sound? Should we just make magic together? And by that, I mostly mean like I'm going to support you in making your magic because I can't affect your magic. You've got it all in you already anyway, but I can help you bring it out. So that's it. That was a terrible sales pitch. But basically, hi, I'm Lindsey. I'm here for real life connections, helping real humans live lives that feel a ton better because I want us all to live lives that feel so, so good. Okay, I'll stop rambling now. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll chat to you later.